What's up, Gamecock family? Welcome back to Gamecock Hoops with Coop. And my mission on this channel is to grow women's basketball, right? Starting with the Lady Gamecocks. So, man, y'all, let's get right into it. Last night, man, we caught that L. I know y'all hated to see it. I hated to see it, but let's get right into it. What really happened that game? So, starting at the beginning of the game, I could tell that the energy was all the way off, right? It seemed like Oklahoma was giving us their best, absolutely best shot. Their energy, their effort, their rebounding, they was just flat out going hard. And we were playing like it was an exhibition game or a preseason game that didn't really mean too much. We weren't playing like it was an important conference game. And Oklahoma on the other side was playing like it's the NBA Finals Game 7, diving on the floor for loose balls. When the ball is going out of bounds, they saving it, throwing it behind the back, letting their players run in, putting the layer. I'm like, oh my goodness, I do not believe this, right? So one of the main things we saw last night is the effort just wasn't there. We let them score 90 points on the road. I don't care who you are, being on the road, letting the SEC team score 90, man, look, you're not going to get many wins that way. Also, we usually dominate the boards or the rebounding statistic. We got out rebounded 54-39 on the boards, right? If you guys watch episode one of the key things that I mentioned is making sure that Okat was physical in this next game, right? She needed to be physical against a great post player on Oklahoma's team, Reagan Beers. And we saw that that didn't happen. Going back looking at the statistics, I think Okat only played 17 minutes, even though she was a starter. She finished with 6 points, 3 of 9 from the field. She had 4 rebounds and 3 turnovers, right? The physicality is not there with Okat. I'm not sure what's going on, but something has changed ever since SEC play has started, right? Before SEC play, she was dominant, a walking double double, but now I don't know if she's getting exposed. I don't know if she's just on a 3-game slump, but we have to turn this thing around. And I can tell by the minutes played that the coaching staff, right, Coach Staley and her staff are also worried about Okai, and they need her to get, I don't know if she needs to get stronger. I'm not sure if it's a mental or just a confidence thing, but we need her to play well so we can get back in this W column. Now, on the other hand, we had our newest member of the team come in, Alicia Turner-BZ, if I'm saying that correctly, and just in 14 minutes, she scored 9 points. She was 4 out of 6 from the field, 1 out of 1 from 3-point range, and 3 rebounds with only 1 turnover. So I'm telling you right now, right? You heard it here first on this channel. Be on the lookout that if things don't improve with Okai, Alicia will be the starting 5 or starting at the 5 or the center position by the time this season is over if Okai does not pick up her physical play on the inside. I can see it happening now. Coach Staley, a phenomenal coach. If she doesn't want it to seem like a big deal and keep the morality of the team up so she doesn't lose Okai, she may be able to still start Okai, but she's going to have very limited minutes. So she can actually start the game with Okai, but then Alicia will be the one playing the more minutes actually than Okai. So, I mean, like she can start the game and maybe play 10 minutes, but Alicia plays 20, 30 minutes. So she can kind of sneak that in with Alicia really being the start and then the number one go-to for the center position. So I'm hoping Okai kind of gets that together. Another player that we needed to focus on, basically the number one scoring option for us, sophomore sensation Joyce Edwards. And man, she had a rough outing last night. She played 40 minutes, 12 points, 3 out of 12 from the field. No three-pointers, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 turnovers, right? 4 turnovers. Looked like Joyce was kind of forcing it a little bit last night. I'm not sure if Reagan Beers and them just threw off a game a little bit. I'm not worried about Joyce. I know she's going to bounce back. We missed so many layups, man. We missed some of the easiest shots, but it is tough to finish in contact. But when you're a collegiate level player, like you gotta be used to finishing in contact. You gotta be able to finish with a hand on your face, like it's still a layup. Now, it may not be as easy as it looks on TV, like, oh, they're right there in the basket, right by the basket. Why are they missing their layup? It is tough, right? You can be getting fouled while you're grabbing the rebound or trying to put it back up. And let's just be honest, right? I'm not the one that complain about the officiating, but both ways, like the officiating on those screens when they were rolling down, they were simply just rolling, and the referees were constantly calling blocks on that. I felt that we didn't really make an adjustment to that, the way that the game was being called. It kind of affected our game and the effort and the play that we had because we didn't make that adjustment during the game. Yeah, I feel like if we would have made that adjustment and just decided to play anyway, it would have been a much better outcome. And I think we could have still took over this game and still be able to pull it out at the last minute. Um, I want to going back to Okot really quickly. What's significant about that? Remember, our center position only had 4 rebounds, right? Now we know about Aaliyah Chavez, which we'll talk about her coming up a little bit later. She also had 4 rebounds. So think about this, y'all. When your starting center, right, has the same amount of rebounds as the opposing team's point guard, oh, you in trouble. You in big trouble if their point guard can match the rebounds of your center. So we have to improve on that, y'all. We can't get beat up in the post. The SEC has definitely some dominant post players, and we have to be able to bang with the bigs and still do our thing, right? Now, moving on, Adele Tack, right? Now, we know Adele isn't the, offensive sensation or anything like that, but defensively, I think she did all right. She did all right. She came in, she only played 10 minutes. She had 2 points, 1 of 4 from the field, but she had 6 rebounds, right? We got to put somebody in there that's ain't scared to bang, that's willing to get out there, get these girls off of the block, off of their permission, off of their positions, and actually do some work down low, right? We need somebody that ain't what Bone Crusher say back in the day, ain't never scared, right? We need somebody to go to work downtown, especially with these big bodies they're gonna throw out at us. The Texas game, they did a phenomenal job, but against Oklahoma, it just wasn't there against that Oklahoma team for whatever reason. I'm not sure if they took them lightly or they were just riding high for Texas. They could have just underestimated that team. But hey, it's nothing we can do about it now. We have to prepare for Vanderbilt on Sunday, which is going to be a key matchup. We'll prepare for them, and I think we're going to have a great game on Sunday. Now, as we continue to break down this game, the first half, we got Reagan Beers in foul trouble. That was phenomenal. That's something that we needed to do. Aaliyah Chavez, right? First half, what you want to do with a player is, let's just say if they have 12 points, you want them to take a shot for every point that they shoot. We want to make them an inefficient scorer. So if they have 12 points, you want them to at least take 12 shots to get 12 points. We did pretty good with her, right? We did pretty good with her in the first half, right? In the first half. Like I said in the preview, she likes to once she's feeling it, get up shots quick in the shot clock. She'll lull you to sleep with the hesitation dribble, then boom, shoot the three just like that. Okay. We did good. The next thing I wanted us to do is get Reagan Beers in foul trouble. Hey, we did that. We got her in foul trouble. She got out of the game. Now, we didn't capitalize on that because we weren't able to extend our lead. We kept going back and forth, and that was just due to effort. In my opinion, it was just due to effort. We wasn't playing as hard as them. We was looking at this as, again, a preseason game, an exhibition game, or just a regular game. We didn't play like it was a conference game, and they were playing like it was game 7 of the NBA finals, right? So our effort held us back from extending this lead and kind of trying to put this lead out of range for them. Offensively, we didn't really have a phenomenal game. I would say 2 players did well for us. Raven Johnson had a good game. She had 16 points, 8 out of 14. From the field, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, only 2 turnovers. At the end of the game, she did make, I think that was the end of the game or close to the end of the game. She made that mistake as the time was running out. No, that was at the end of the third quarter. She did make a big mistake as the time was running out. I think she was thinking that they had less time than what they really had. They had 6 seconds, and she launched it with like 4 seconds left. And that's, as a fifth-year senior, we can't really have that those mistakes. But hey, it does happen, and you could tell she was kind of embarrassed that she made that mistake. But overall, Raven had a really good game. Second player that did well, which is our leading scorer, is Tessa Johnson. She actually had 19 points, 6 of 14 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3. She had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and no turnovers. I was looking to minimize the turnovers this game, and they did okay with the turnovers. We had 13 turnovers, could have been better, but not the worst in the world. The turnovers didn't beat us this game. Everybody else kind of struggled. Joyce had a bad game offensively, right? Only 12 points, 3 of 12 from the field. So they made her an inefficient scorer, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 turnovers. I mentioned the stats from Okai earlier. Tanai Latson had a bad game offensively, 32 minutes, 6 points, 1 out of 10 from the field, 0 from 2. 0 out of 2 from 3-point range, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, right? And I'm not sure if Latson is all the way 100% coming back from her injury, but we're going to need her to get that going, and I think she will. Kind of similar to Joyce. I think she was kind of forcing the issue a bit much, trying to get, Beers in foul trouble, and they were making it tough in the interior. We just couldn't finish, and the officiating, they went and calling the fouls like that. So, they go in, try to jump into their body. Referee, I guess, sees it as the defender was going straight up, knock us to the floor. They don't call anything, right? So we had to adjust to the officiating, and don't seem like we did that. We just, in my head, it looks like they just said, hey, they just cheating us. And hey, what can we do? We getting cheated, rather than adjust to the officiating and say, hey, if they ain't going to call that, hey, let me jump into you a little bit more and at least get a charge out of the play, force the whistle on the referee. Because if you keep forcing the whistle, they're going to eventually have to call something, rather than just sitting back and say, well, I'm going to shoot a jumper. Oklahoma won in that sense because they stopped us from driving in, trying to put pressure on that interior defense. If you notice, Joyce was shooting jumpers from the outside around the elbow, rather than keep putting the pressure on the defense. And Okot too. Instead of trying to take it all the way in, they would shoot little jumpers. And then when they did get in, the length, the strength, the physicality made them miss those easy chip shots and those layups. Now, the second half was the complete opposite of the first half, right? We let Alicia Chavez get into her rhythm. She started making those threes, and she likes to shoot right off the dribble. So she'll lull you to sleep, lull you to sleep, then boom, right off the dribble. If you're not active, you're not ready to close out immediately. If you give her any room, she hit a couple shots. She got hot, especially in that overtime. I think she scored 15 out of the 26 points in the overtime on us, right? She got hot from three. And of course, that's demoralizing for any team. They start shooting them threes. You're not having the best game. It's just kind of like, this is not our game. Also, Reagan Beers, it was giving her too deep positioning, right? We were trying to front the post and make sure she doesn't get the pass in the front, but we had, to me, I didn't see anybody on the backside, right? On the backside to put Reagan Beers almost in the sandwich. We were putting her too deep in the post, and hey, she was going to town. Like Shaq usually says, or used to say before the show got discontinued on Inside the NBA. Once she gets the ball deep in that post, Reagan Beers is barbecue chicken. She turns over that right shoulder and boom, lays it in right off the glass. And we were struggling trying to contain her. She's definitely a dominant big. And she, we got to call a spade a spade. She went to town on us, but that's all right though. That's all right. We're going to get better. We're going to bounce back from this game. This is not the end all be all. We got some things we need to work on coming into the next game. And I'm going to do a preview on the Vanderbilt game. We got to dominate the boards, right? We cannot let any other team out physical us down there in the paint. And even with the guards, right? We have to show some effort, some energy. You got to want to win. Nobody's going to lay down. Nobody's going to say, oh, hey, you're playing the legendary Don Staley's team, the legendary Lady Gamecocks, and say, hey, these other teams want to win too. So when you're a top team, you're going to have a target on your back. So, hey, we got to bring that energy every game. Also, talking about bigs and being physical, I think Turner Bees, she did the best she could coming in. She's still pretty new. She got 4 quick fouls. Beers just knew how to work her down low, right? She was trying. She has to understand the game here in the States a little bit more. But again, you heard it here first. Watch for her. If she doesn't start, watch for her minutes to start exceeding both Tack and Okat's minutes. Now, I didn't mention Makir. She had a pretty good game, 20 minutes, 8 points, 3 out of 8 from the field. Wasn't the most efficient, but she did have 3 rebounds. As a freshman, expect her to make some mistakes. It's going to happen. But hey, she's going to be tough. She's continuing to learn. I like the potential that I see there. Okay. Another thing that I didn't like on the defensive end, we allow all of Oklahoma starters to get in double figures. Williams had 12 points. Beers had 18. We gave Chavez, let her go off for 26. We had Beerhurst have 19 and Van had 11 points, right? They had a total of 54 rebounds together. It wasn't our best defensive game. That wasn't Don Staley defense. But hey, like I said, we're going to bounce back, right? So we ain't going to harp on this loss. We're going to take it as a lesson. And another thing that I'm calling, we will get the dub versus Vanderbilt. I believe that this team, they had a bad game. It happens to us all. We had a bad game. We kind of walked into this game, boom, got punched in the mouth and wasn't really able to recover. But that Vanderbilt game, we are going to come out like we're supposed to. I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout, but I think we will get the dub and get back in the win column. Also, as bad as we played this game, it really didn't get out of hand until overtime when Chavez got hot from 3. So as bad as we played, to put this thing in perspective, we had a shot to win at the end. We probably played 2 or 3 good minutes of defense towards the end of this game, right? And it put us back in. I think they were up maybe 6 or 7. Raven got some deflections, some steals. We were playing real gritty defense, tough defense, making it hard on them. And right before they tied the game up, we got them to take a tough shot, right? And we had a chance. Joyce, I want you guys to go back and look at the end of regulation. Joyce missed the box out on Reagan Beers. On big players like that, You have to, don't even worry about the rebound. Go find a body and put your body on a body. Get Reagan Beers to get that, because they were down 2 points. We were up two, right? This was probably with a minute left or under a minute left. And all we needed to do was put a body on everybody. They were so hungry for the win. I'm pretty sure she would have went over the back or pushed Joyce. She would have been out of the game. But instead, we tried to jump. The ball didn't come our way. Reagan Beers was able to get it. Nobody boxed her out. Boom, right there on the glass, and put it in to tie up the game. Of course, we had the last possession, but I was thinking Raven probably should have kept it. They tried to do a double screen and roll and give it to Joyce. Turnover, the time went out. And of course, we know Aaliyah Chavez got hot in overtime. But hey, look for us to bounce back. That's all that I have on this one. Hey, if you enjoyed this episode and want to help grow the women's basketball game, make sure you hit subscribe, like, and comment. Let me know in the comments some things you would like to see the Lady Gamecocks do better next game against Vanderbilt to secure that dub. Y'all be blessed. Go Gamecocks.